I'm Juho Vepsäläinen from Finland. Do you know where Finland is? Or, all right.
No, please explain.
Yeah, so it's north. You have to go north.
Besides Scotland.
Yeah, I mean it's somewhere, but I mean it's really nice, sunny place. Please visit. So yeah, so this talk, it's pretty much about me. I mean how I ended up here in Vienna in this meetup. So I mean we'll go a bit back, and you will learn how I ended up here. And I mean for me the last 3 years they have been the, let's say, most intense years of my life. And especially this year, I mean this year I went to like 8 countries. I still have 1 country left. I gave like 20 talks. I'm still learning German. And I learned a lot of things. I experienced more than in 30 years before. So it just tells something about my year. I'm kind of writing my 3rd or 4th book at the moment. I got this out earlier this year. It's really heavy book. I mean, you can use it as a weapon against zombies or something, but I mean, it's like 500 pages about Webpack. I helped to popularize the tool. I'm a part of the core team. I received my first award this year. I mean, I did a lot of things in 3 years, and the point is to kind of show how I did it. I mean, it's a lot of things I would have loved to know 3 years ago before I started, because I would have saved a lot of time. So now I'm trying to share this wisdom with you. So let's get started. So actually the whole thing started by the fact that I found a blog post about Webpack. I was aware of the tool. I knew the tool, but I mean the documentation was really awful. I mean it was like, let's see if I can find it. I mean the point was that you went to Webpack site, and there's this cube, and then there is this picture, and then there is this code I didn't understand. So the blog post, it kind of made me understand a little bit more. And then I understood that maybe we should write a kind of cookbook for Webpack. So I mean, I started this with Christian Alfoni. And I mean, this comment, I was just like, we should do something about this. And it kind of went from there. So I mean, I made 1 comment, and because of that, I'm here. So I will discuss a few topics like entrepreneurship, lifestyle, and this personal side, because these are kind of intertwined, because I'm speaking about personal, lifestyle, business, and what I learned in the process. So let's start with entrepreneurship. I mean, this is really easy word in Finnish. It's yrittäjyys, and it means trying. So when you're an entrepreneur in Finland, you're one who tries. It tells a lot about the mentality we have. So I mean, it's just try and try. A bit of my background. I mean, I did vocational studies. I studied electronics. I mean, this was like 2004. So I went to university. The point was to study more electronics, but they quit the program or whatever. So then I went into software engineering. Then in 2005, there was this course in university, and it was about computer graphics. I didn't want to learn Photoshop. I didn't want to learn 3ds Max or something. So I started looking into these open source options like the GIMP or Blender. And I mean, Blender is like the Vim of 3D suits. It's really difficult application to learn to use. But I mean, I managed to learn to use it. And then I figured that maybe I can improve this application, because I already knew how to program in C. And then I figured that, yeah, this has been written in C. So I started writing these little patches for the project. Eventually, I became a maintainer of Blender. So if you use Blender, you have a bit of my code in the application. Then after university, I went into freelancing. So I started doing these little gigs for local clients. It didn't work out well because the pay wasn't good. And I mean, I didn't know a lot about business. And then I did some collaboration with startups that didn't go well. I mean, I was kind of stuck. So this was like a dead end for me. So a sane person at this point would have gotten a job. I mean, you just go to, interview. Like today, there was this position, you go and interview and you get the job. I mean, you get 1 job, I mean, you interview 100 times or whatever and then you get the job. But I mean, that didn't feel like something for me. So I was like, let's do products, let's write books, because that has to be easy, like, because it's only writing, right? So you write and put it out and hope it works. So I was like, let's do this. So I mean, of course, it doesn't go that way. I mean, you cannot just write books and expect they sell. But I think I got a little lucky on that. But I mean, on the background why I decided to start writing. I mean, there was this comment I made, and there's also this trend, because if you look at JavaScript, it's everywhere. So it's on most sites on the web. NPM exploded. So I mean, we have like 500,000 modules. I mean, in 3 years we have 1 million modules. So it's this crazy amount of packages for JavaScript. And yeah, there was this blog post, and that's where the book idea started. And then I started did this wiki thing. I started pitching it to a publisher. They said no. But I mean, more on that later. About the background as well, I mean, this is what I saw in the market early on. So it was really confusing, because I mean, you have a lot of these little solutions. So how do I survive this, or how do I deal with this? I mean, it's like, this is really famous person in Finland, but you don't get the reference. But I mean, it's like, what's the point? So I mean, yeah. So because if you write a book, you cannot write a book about everything. So I was like, let's choose a couple of technologies. I chose React because it seemed like a good idea at the time. Nobody used React yet. I chose Webpack because of the blog post. I chose Babel, I chose Flow, ESLint, these little tools that seem to go well together. So then I started writing about these topics. So when it comes to business, I decided that maybe I can do something about the mess, because we are in this huge mess and people are struggling. So let's help people to deal with the mess. So let's write these books, or kind of do whatever it takes to help people a bit. Then I ended up with this brand. I mean, I had domain from years back, this survivejs.com, and I was like, yeah, it's not that bad, so let's use it. In the first book I wrote, the point was that because I knew Kanban from the past, it's this process management thing, that you make these lanes and then you have these tasks. I figured that this is like small application I can write in the book. So you read my book and you learn to write this. It looks really simple, but it actually takes quite a bit of time to get it done, because you have some complex state. But I mean, it was enough for the market at the time. You can see how I moved with the book. So I have this kick sled on the first one. It was 2015 when I got the book out. I mean, I was just, let's test the market. So kick sled, there was no author on the book cover, because I wasn't so sure if it's a good idea to put the name on the cover if the content isn't that great. So I mean, the point was just let's put something there. Then I was like, nobody understands this reference because it's kick sled. Nobody in the world knows what a kick sled is. So I mean, most people know this San Francisco Bridge. So let's try that. And then it started evolving. I mean, then I eventually got courage to put the name there. So yeah, then I got some cover, and then someone said that it's depressing or something, or you cannot use this. So I found something more happy. I mean, I have this happy cover. I mean, really black metal cover. I went to this stock photo site, and I was just going through the images, and I found this shape. I really liked the shape. It's like this turbine thing. And yeah, I was like, this is really nice. It's like a heavy metal thing, so I will use this. So then I chose that. Then another friend told me that it's too dark, you cannot use this. So I gave this stock photo, I gave it to the friend, and the friend gave me a logo back. So that's how I got my logo. So I mean, he took the shape and he turned it into something nice. So this is what I use at the moment everywhere. And the point is that I can just add these things to the logo here. Just one important point. It was like one book at first. It was book about, because I started writing about Webpack, and then I realized that I'm writing a book about Webpack and React. So it was one book about Webpack and React. But then time went on, and I realized that I have two books in one. So then I split it up. So if you bought my first book, then you got two books. And actually now I realized that I have this Webpack book here. It's like 500 pages or 499 pages, because 500 would be too much. So I realized that, I mean, it's far too much. So what I started doing, and I'm still doing this, I'm doing a new book. That's like I took a part of the old book, and I did another book, and I grew it into kind of, I took like 50 pages from the old, and I added a lot of content. I'm still adding content. So now I get new books. So I get like 3 books out of one book. and I might do another book based on the big book because it's too big. So yeah, but this is how I write. So I write too much, and I split, and I have more books. But yeah, about publishing. So when I was starting out, I was pitching this idea that yeah, it will be a really good idea to write this book about Webpack, and they were like, nope, we won't do this. But I was like, this is a good idea, so I will do it anyway. So then I went through this lean pub thing. And the point is that they give you this processing flow. I mean, you write your book in Markdown, and they will process the Markdown into PDF, EPUB, and mobile, and they will sell the book for you. You will get 90%. So I mean, the reality is nice. And then I went to Amazon at one point. So I have this. You can buy this book. I mean, the softcover version, not this nice one. You can buy it from Amazon. So yeah, I mean, you can write paper books really, really easily these days. I mean, it's just amazing how much you can do. But this wasn't easy. I mean, it wasn't easy for me to get to Vienna. So I mean, the first 3 months, I made $1,000 in 3 months. It's not a lot of money for a lot of work. So then someone found me. I mean, this Jesus Rodriguez from Spain. I mean, he saw that I was trying. I was trying really hard. I was pushing releases all the time and so on. So he saw that I was trying, and he decided to help. So we started going through the content. He was like my technical editor. He kind of taught me how to write. So he gave me this he helped me to improve my style. And I think it was kind of the thing that made it work for me. And I also had to think about this publishing model because I was giving out the content for free, and I was still selling something. So if you have something free, maybe you take the free thing instead of buying the thing if it's free. So I had to think about this as well. But then kind of things started to come together, and I was in the right time in the market because React was still growing. So I ran into this problem that, I mean, you have this open and closed approaches. Like if you think about traditional publishing, it's closed. So that you pay first and then you get the book. And the point is that, yeah, it makes sense to pay in this case, but I mean, it's more difficult to collaborate in this case. And you also need money for marketing. So I meant this because when you start writing, nobody knows you, they don't really care. So I chose open approach. And how this works is that I have this book site. I mean, you can find the content online. I mean, this brings people to me. They find my content, they find my name, they find my books, they get some trust. I mean, because you need trust to sell. So, I mean, eventually they feel bad because they read through your book. They start feeling bad. I mean, the content was good, I should pay. So that's how I make my money here, by making people feel bad. Yeah. This is another thing I learned, because I mean, if I go alone, I can travel really fast. But the problem is that I end up in some weird place. I don't even know if I wanted to go there. So then I figured that it's good to have some people around me. So actually in the book site, let's say you need help. You click this button. Yeah, I need help. And then you get to talk with me, so you can chat. I mean, you have a problem, and then you open the chat and you ask something. So I mean, I started gathering these people around me. And I mean, sometimes it's overwhelming because people ask the questions all the time, but I think it's the kind of the price you have to pay. But the interesting thing is that it's more fun to do things together than alone. I mean, I don't know why, but that's how it seems to be. So there's this community aspect. So there's a website. You can get the content there, and there's discuss comments. I'm gonna show you. So let's go to this Webpack book. Here's the free version. Like composing. So I have the chapter, and in the end, you have comments. So people have problems or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, this is good, but I don't understand this. I mean, this is too complicated and whatever." I get feedback and I can improve. So I mean, it was really important for me to get this feedback loop going, because if you don't get feedback, you cannot improve. So I mean, this was one of the smart things I did. I set up the book site and I set up chat and discuss comments and whatever. I also have GitHub. So let's say I have this is for the new book, maintenance book. So I mean, you can find the content here, and then I have the GitHub issues. So here are all the things that have to happen or have to be done. And then I get some new content done. I will write the pull request, and then I get a long discussion on if it's good or not. And I get feedback here. So I mean, this allows me to get better. So I like this process a lot. I mean, GitHub is not only for coding; it's also for writing. In terms of technology, there is, I mean, it's Markdown. I mean, it's mostly nice. It's not always nice, but I mean, it's quite good. And yeah, you have that GitHub thing, and I wrote my own tool using the technology I wrote about. So this is something based on Webpack and React. It's like Webpack for static sites. I mean, it has one user, two users, me and Webpack site. And I don't think anybody else uses it. I don't want that you use it because I don't want to support it. So I mean, don't use my tool. Use something else. I host it on GitHub pages. I have Cloudflare and these bits in front. Yeah, Gitter discuss. Because by my heart, I'm a developer. So when it comes to releasing books, I think like a developer. So because I had this past in open source. I decided let's do these fast, light releases. So maybe we publish something every month or every week or whatever. So I did this versioning for the books. It's like a bit like Semver for books. And when I'm active, I mean, when I'm really writing, this seems to work. So when you just push and push the content, it gets attention and people like that they get new content. I write release notes in my blog. I can show that. One of the good things I did, I interviewed a lot of people. I don't know if you heard about this Redux thing, but I mean, in 2015, nobody knew Redux. And I did this interview and it exploded in popularity. So maybe that was coincidence or not, I don't know. But I mean, I have done a lot of interviews. So it's always the same questions. And you can go through these interviews and you can learn amazing amount. So I mean, sometimes the people I interview, they are not famous yet, but then some like year or two goes, and they are really famous. So it's also about helping people. I mean, it's not all about business. But yeah, the key point here is that release, get feedback, release, improve. But marketing, I mean, you can write a book, but if nobody knows it exists, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I have that site, and then I have something else. I have Twitter. I don't have Facebook because I don't like Facebook, but I mean, I have Twitter. And I mean, I think this is enough for me. So I just push something every day, and people get constant content, and I can push my releases through this. I also have a mailing list. And yeah, interviews. Why I did these interviews? I mean, it was just a random thing. Someone proposed to me that let's do interview. I think it was Michel from Mobex. And we did one interview, and I was like, this is a good idea, let's do more. So now I have like 70 interviews or something like that. So it's some effort for me, because the point is that some people, they have great ideas, but they cannot write that well, or they cannot edit that well. So what I do, I propose this interview, we collaborate a bit, I improve the content, I push it as far as I can, I push the quality, I get it to the people. So everyone is happy in that way. But yeah, there's more than marketing. I mean, you can have a nice book, you can reach the people, but if there's no reason to buy, or if you don't do this right, it doesn't work. So you have to sell, and you have to think about business models. So for me, I mean, I started from books, and it was kind of successful because I mean, to this date, I've sold well over 4,000 books myself. I mean, self-published books. It's like $100,000, which is some amount of money. But I mean, yeah, writing books, it's fun, but it takes time. So maybe there's something else. So I tried contracting at one point. So I had this table library. someone found it on internet, and someone from San Francisco, and that means money. So yeah, so they gave me money to develop my own product, my own library. So I did this Reactable thing for React. It's more like a table framework. I think I could monetize this better. I'm not making a lot of money out of this, but I mean, people like the component, people like the library, so I mean, it's something for reference at least. But the problem for me is that, I mean, yeah, I got some nice money short term, but I was sacrificing long term success. And then I realized that, yeah, I have these books, and a lot of important people read my books. So maybe I can use this as a marketing funnel. So I mean, I have this huge net, huge reach, and I can sell something more valuable to these people. So I kind of went into consulting and training business. So this means that some big company, they have some specific need. They want me to come and help them for a week or two, and they are willing to pay, so I can do that. And I've done this some amount. And I think it's a good model because you have this big net, and then you have this really expensive thing that you offer on top of that. So it seems like a good compromise. So you can make really nice money for a little while, and then you have something basic that makes a little bit of money, and it's like the safety in life. So at the moment I'm somewhere in between. So I write when I have time, I write, and when I get good contract, I go to the client and I help the client. So yeah, books and upsell everything else. I could do one more thing. I could do courses, but I mean I don't have time for everything, so I have to kind of choose. So results. I mean, the fact that I'm here, it's one result. Another thing, I mean, if I did this all alone, let's say I spent 1 year like hiding in my cave, writing the book and published, I don't think it would work. I think it's important to have that feedback loop, because that's how you get quality, that's how you get what people want. So yeah, some books, some translations, paper books, and yeah, so there are some readers and actually paying readers. I mean, thousands more outside. I mean, just free readers, freeloaders, whatever. So, and more than 100 contributors. I mean, more than 100 people gave their work back to me, because I'm doing good thing in open. They want to help me to improve the content, so why not? And earlier this year, in May, I got award. I mean, I got this block of wood. They gave me a block of wood for my efforts. And they gave me this title, Finnish Code Ambassador. So it's like the Oscar of software development in Finland. So I got this thing this year. I mean, it's just more like recognition. So I mean, it's like, yeah, you did a good job. Here's a block of wood thing, kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, and I've been touring. I mean, I started touring this year. So I've seen a lot of Europe. I met a lot of people, and I have had really good, interesting clients. And we did indie bundle. I mean, I think we did this twice. The point was that everyone on their own, they can reach only one slice of the market. So the point was to get like 6 authors together and sell something for a week. I think we made like $40,000 in 1 week, because we were in the right place in the right time. So again, just something for marketing or something to keep in mind, because if you can collaborate, it's always better. But this business thing, I started understanding how business goes, how I can make money, and how I can publish products and so on. But I mean, I wasn't really happy person, so I was like, I think I had to. I mean, this year I got this offer by ReactiveConf that let's do a tour. So that gave me an excuse to travel in April. And I'll tell a bit about that in here. Because this led to changes in my lifestyle, which is elämäntapa in Finnish, which means the way of living. Yeah. So I will move from business to lifestyle. So how I used to live was like this. So let's wake up around 7. And maybe I'm like 30 minutes in the bed because I don't like to wake up. Let's eat some breakfast, check some email, let's check out RSS, what's happening in the world. Let's do some work. Let's go for a quick run. on a treadmill because I mean it's winter, it's dark, you cannot go outside because it's -30. So yeah, I have a treadmill. And then let's put some lunch in the microwave, eat it fast. Let's do more work. Let's go for a quick run on the treadmill. Let's eat some dinner. We eat at 5. So that's important to know. If you go north, we eat at 5. Then I have some chill time. So let's play games. Let's go to sauna. I mean, sauna is important. That's one thing. You go to Finland, you go to sauna. Yeah, and let's go to sleep. And here we go again. So I mean, my life was like this for a long time. Of course, there were exceptions. I was really lazy during summer. So I mean, summer is like, it's so bright. I mean, you have like 20-hour days. So I mean, it changes kind of it changes everything. So yeah, but I mean, I had to escape, so I went to nature and I did a strong thing. But yeah, I mean, winters, they were really, really tough for me. I mean, if you want to become a happier person, go to Finland, spend one winter, because you will never complain about, I mean, you won't complain about winter if you spend one winter there. So I spent 30 winters, so I know something about darkness. I mean, it's not the cold, it's the darkness. So I was living this minimal style life, which was good in a way. So I got things done, but I mean, is there more to life than this? I mean, I can live like this. I can make money and I can just kind of go into this cycle. But yeah, then I started I got this opportunity because someone found my book and they were like, we can use this person for marketing. So let's do this. And I was like, yeah, let's do this because it's a good idea for me to see the Europe. So we spent like April just going from place to place. We did like Berlin and we did Czech and we did Slovakia. The last session, it was in Vienna. I mean, it was really kind of random thing because I was supposed to go to London, but I mean, the London cancelled, so I ended up in Vienna. It was kind of a chance for me to do something I had not done before. So I mean, I was living in this little bubble. So I was like, let's go a bit outside of the bubble. So because sometimes you have to go beyond what you are. And it was kind of, because the plan was to spend 1 month and then go back home and go back to old life. And it didn't go that way because I left Finland like end of March. And since then I've been back to Finland for 2 weeks. Because I mean, I was like, I did this first tour, I went back for a week, and then I did another tour, then I went back for a week, then I did third tour, this is my third tour. I'm going back for a week in like a week. But it's like, it kind of changed the way I think about how to live a life. Because when you see what's outside of your bubble, maybe you don't want to go back to the bubble. Yeah, so, but I mean, why Vienna? Why not Berlin or why not London or something else? Let's say I made some friends, I made some new connections, and I was like, I mean, the city likes me and I like the city, so why not? You can read my story about this. I mean, I won't go into this in detail, but I mean, you can read it later. And as it happens, Vienna is like in center of Europe. If you want to travel, it's a good place to travel. I mean, you can get to Barcelona for 80 euros. It's like so cheap and it's so fast. But yeah, now my life, I don't have this schedule anymore. I sleep as late as I like. Then I go to office, hang with my friends. I mean, I do some work. Then we have 1 hour lunch, like Vienna style. It might be 2 hour lunch, you know, because we are not so, let's say we are enjoy life here. Instead of doing these microwave lunches, we go for proper lunches. And yeah, I still get work done and I'm happier. Let's say I have personal life. So it's not all about fun and games. But the thing is, I got a little successful in business and then it led to change in lifestyle. And it was, I think it's a really good thing. But then you get the question like, now you have this chance to change the way you live your life. So what kind of lifestyle you actually want? Is it good to travel around or do you want to stick with some city or what? So this is like the thing I have to figure out. But yeah, so you have that business thing that changes your lifestyle. And lifestyle, it starts to change your personal life. because now you get this lifestyle, and then you have the person inside the business. This really easy word, henkilökohtainen. So yeah, it's personal. So let's say you run this personal lifestyle business. So you're literally the business. So this means that how you feel or how you're doing, it affects your business. So based on this logic, it makes sense to kind of optimize your own happiness, or you have to be kind of in a good shape. I mean, in mental terms, in physical terms, because it all affects the business. So you have this business, and it affects the lifestyle, which affects personal side, which affects the business. So you have this tiny little loop. Because if you're really depressed and not happy with life, you don't get anything done, and then it means business is bad, and you get really sad because business is bad, and you cannot maintain your lifestyle. But you have to get in this positive cycle. So this business is not about making the biggest amount of money. It's more about enabling good life for me, because it's really it's business for me. It's not for someone else. It's just enabling my life in a way. So this means that I can invest into myself. I have to think what makes sense, so that I can grow as a person, because then I can get more done with the business. But there's a risk. So let's say your personal life doesn't go well, then business is going to suffer. Or let's say business is not going so well, it's going to affect your personal life. So I have to be a little careful with this. But I mean, personally, I grew this business, but then I realized that I hit some limit, because I can go only this far. So I have to change. But the thing is, it seems you are never ready. So I have to learn new things like every day. What essentially happened for me is that I was in some box. So I was in this situation. I mean, I was like kind of stuck in life. So this meant that I had to change myself. So I had to learn a lot of things I never knew about, and I'm still kind of doing this. And there's actually a Viktor Frankl Museum. I don't know if you see the name, but there's a Viktor Frankl Museum in Vienna. It's quite close. It's like 2 kilometers west. You should go there, because it's going to change the way you think about life. So just a local tip. Effectively, I went from no life to life. I started understanding what no life means. So I mean, it's like it's really it's fun to notice that there's more to life than what you already know. So it's the bubble thing. So you have this bubble, and you get outside of the bubble, and you have a bigger bubble. So maybe one day I go outside of this bubble and find even bigger bubble. But I mean, we'll see. So you know this. So we went from apes to something else, and then we went to computers. I don't know if this is progress, but I mean, it's more fun to be here than here, at least for me. So what I learned, lessons learned, OPIT, really, really simple. Lessons learned, yeah. So yeah, writing books is hard, but I think anyone can write a book. I mean, writing is not a problem. You can get some kind of book done. But I mean, it's the marketing and selling aspect that are really hard. Because you can write something, but I mean, if nobody cares, nobody will buy. So I will say it's at least as important to put the thought or focus into marketing and selling. Maybe it makes sense to find the customer first and develop the product based on customer. And for me personally, I mean, it's the personal growth, because you have to be able to learn and change. It's surprising. I mean, it's pretty hard, but I mean, it's something you have to do. When it comes to business, I would say every business in the world is based on trust. So before you can get that big deal, you need a lot of trust. And it begins from something simple. So for me, it was having that site and allowing people to find me and build that little bit of trust that gives kind of opportunity for me to gain more trust and gain deals and so on. And also this value thing, you have to provide something valuable for people, because otherwise they don't care. And I think for a lot of programmers, they are in this doing thing. They are really good at doing things, but they are really bad at telling things. So you have really big value, like, I don't know, 1 million or, I don't know, 10 million times 0, which is 0. You won't have any luck, because if you do great things and you don't tell, nobody cares. We also have these people that don't do anything. They just tell, yeah, I have this great idea, let's do this. And it's like they won't get lucky because they aren't doing actually anything, they're just telling things. So I think you need a bit of both. So you need to be doing things. So I mean, for me it's writing, and you need to be telling things, so that's the marketing thing. And when you do both, you can actually get lucky. So I mean, you get these opportunities. So like one friend put it, what I did, I built an opportunity machine for myself. And there's always something new around the corner. So now you get good at writing, then you have to get good at something else. So you never run out of things to learn. I just want to end this in the one little idea. So I mean, you have to be able to dream. So maybe you want to make your life better somehow. So you have some dream, and then you have to be, you need courage to go towards that direction. And you have to remember not to give up too easily, because you could be going to the right direction, but if you give up, then you never get to the destination. So I think that's it for me, and I think I will end this here, and then we will have questions in the end. So thank you.